All right, this is like the third daggone time I've tried to do a video, and every time I get near the end, I end up screwing something up and get my tongue twisted. So anyways, hello YouTubers, welcome back to the Holler. All right, Mike again with Hills and Hollers Homestead. So I wanted to kind of give you a little update here. So she was bred just over 3 weeks ago. Well, they mated. We wasn't sure if there was a successful breed. She should have come back into season this weekend if she hadn't been bred. She's not in season. So we're pretty confident in thinking that she is bred. So 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days puts us within the first week or two of July. She is 13 days behind her on being bred. So we're going to keep watch on her. If she doesn't come in back into season, then we know she's a successful breed. If she does come back into season, at least she's in here with Boris, and Boris can turn around and do some warranty work. All right, so they are actually rooting a bit more up in here now. A little bit more disturbance, as you can see around the locust trees up here. And these trees are coming out of here anyways. I was planning on cutting them out, and what I can't use as fence posts, I'm going to use as firewood. And they've really started to get in up here. As you can see, all the vines and stuff, these invasive vines and everything, they're really starting to get in there and root them out. They're actually getting some good disturbance up here on this, around this clump of trees. And then I'm hoping they'll just kind of work their way over through there. And they've done a good job over there, but continue to root and get all that stuff cleaned out of there. Get back to a normal zoom here. All right, so other than that, everybody's doing good. Pee-wee is sound asleep over there. He's actually snoring. I just tried to wake him up, and I thought, nah, he looks too comfortable. I'm not even gonna bother waking him up. All right, so the wind from this past weekend was, maybe we even had some higher wind speeds with these wind gusts, but definitely not the effect that we had last weekend. This thing stayed in place. It didn't try to pick up and blow away. My wife told me I should have taken that hut up there, turned it the other way, and hopefully the wind would have blown it back straight, but I didn't want to even come out here and get in its path if it was going to get blown over. So it's still fine. It didn't get blown away, and we didn't have near the widespread power outages in the area like we did with last weekend's, even though we had some stronger winds this time. Last weekend seemed to be more sustained, stronger winds, where this weekend we had more short bursts. And this weekend it come from north, south, and west, where last weekend's was all coming out of the southwest. So I've still got stuff blown all over the place up here. There's cardboard, there's corrugated metal I got to get in here and get picked up. Now, of course, all this cardboard I was kind of holding off to use as a ground cover through the orchard and the rest of the berry bed to put mulch on top of. Well, there you go. And that corrugated metal I got to get it all picked up. So what I'm going to do is, as I talked about cover crops in a couple videos back, like this whole area up here, instead of planting corn again, I was going to do all cover crop in this whole field. So I've got a 6-foot harrow drag that I'm going to come in after the pigs go out, and I'm going to drag all this. And I found a great mix. It's a big variety mix of different grasses and stuff like that. And from all the reading and everything that I've done, and the research and everything that I've done on that, on cover crops, I'm bushy today, daggone. It's not even humid. Is you want a wide variety. You want a lot of different species and stuff in your cover crops, especially if you're going to use it for animal forage, because not only does it improve the nutritional value of it for the animals, it also improves your soil health and everything like that. So I found a couple really good mixes. They have everything from buckwheat to sorghum Sudan grass, to various clovers, to hairy vetch, to other vetch, to radishes, I mean, just all kinds of stuff. That's all going to be really good, not only for the soil, but it'd be a great cover crop and good forage for the pigs when I bring them back into this at the end of the season. So that's the plan with that. And I found some really good, like I said, some really good mixes that I bought. And I also found some a couple of different varieties of multi-species clover. And I'm going to come in and, like this big wide area here all along the fence where the pigs had really cut that down in there, I'm going to come in here with my weed whacker with the blade and knock a lot of this stuff down. And I'm just going to really throw the seeds all along through here, all the way out along the fence line. Let that kind of come back in and fix that soil, get that good cover back in there again to help prevent further erosion and everything. And I think that'll work out really good. And I'll even throw some of that the other mixes and stuff in there. And the good thing about, like with the buckwheat and the clovers and stuff, is they attract pollinators. So that's good for the, you know, the bees will come in here. That's good for our gardens. That's good for our berries. That's good for our orchard and stuff. And it's good for the bees. So, and it's good for us, the planet. Anyways, okay, so I did find those, and while I was searching for those, I actually ran across a really good chicken forage mix. And what I'm going to do is, several areas around my yard, I'm going to run that harrow drag, and I'm going to overseed with that chicken forage mix. Now, not all of this is no-till. You don't have to till or anything like that to get this, to plant this. But I do definitely want to do a harrow drag, just to kind of disturb that top layer and get that stuff seeded so it makes good contact. And we get good quick rooting and stuff. Now, I'm not going to do it anytime soon, like in the next week or two, because we're still getting some pretty good heavy frost in the mornings, and I don't want to go out there and throw all that seed on the ground and it not take, or it just start to take and we get another frost. So, and grass is ready to be cut already. That's the bad thing. And I'm really just not ready for that. I'm ready for good warm weather. We're mid-70s today. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, and it's supposed to be in the 80s for the next couple of days, and we got some rain coming in again. But I'm just not ready to be cutting grass this year, because that takes away from so many other things that I have to do. And that's why I'm going to make as much of my yard, as much animal forage as I possibly can. Because, well, not only does it do, I mean, it takes away from me having to do, you know, mow all that, but it takes away from the cost of conventional feed for my animals, for like my chickens and stuff like that. And it also gives them a better quality feed and a more natural feed that they would traditionally eat on. So that's the plan with all of that. All right, so we're still waiting on May to find out if we get the commitment for funding for the sorry, I had to move in here, for the greenhouse, the well development, the spring development. Now all of that will come together as one funding, I mean separately each project, but all approved this year. I wouldn't do the well until next year to kind of keep the costs low, because again, I thought, like I said in the last video or a couple videos ago, we found out we have to pay taxes on that money. So we have to claim it as income. And so we're going to break it apart over the next couple of years. That way we're not stuck with one giant tax bill. And we've already adjusted our withholdings to kind of help offset that in the future anyway, just in case, you know, we would run over or run too close and end up having to pay out of pocket for a lot of that stuff. Another thing I'm going to do is, and I haven't done this yet, and I've had every intention, but God knows that, you know, there's no distractions or anything, not at all, that I'm going to go ahead and try to get out here in where the spring, the existing spring is piped, because it stopped coming out of that pipe several years ago. It's just pouring out of the ground now. Is I'm going to try to get a hose out there, and I'm going to prime that pipe. I'm going to, you know, prime water back into that pipe to see if I can't get that thing flowing again. There may be just a simple obstruction in there that I can get with water, you know, priming it with water to get it to break free and get it flowing again. If I do that, then I'm not waiting on any funding. I'm not having to pay taxes on all that other stuff. I can go ahead and just finish developing that myself and be done with it. But of course, that's everything else is here. It's right here. There's a bunch of other stuff here, and I'm sure there's going to be other stuff come in between there. So is the life. But when I come out here in the evenings, when I get done with work at 4 o'clock, when I come out here and I feed and water my animals, even if I have to water every animal, like 60-gallon drum, barrel for water on the pigs, that usually takes the longest. 3-gallon water for each group of chickens. You know, the bunnies, 3 gallons of water for the guineas and their chicken tractor. I mean, even when I have to do all of that in one evening, I'm still done in 45 minutes or less. And I got to water both sets of chickens. The pigs are good. I actually need to check their water. I checked it the other day. It was fine, but I'm going to check it again. So I may have to water everybody this evening and just get their water levels back up. But, you know, so it's not difficult. You can do this with a full-time job. We do this with a full-time job. Everything that we've done with full-time jobs. The most work comes in the beginning when you want to get your infrastructure in place as far as your chicken coops go, any fencing, your paddocks and things like that. That's like with the rabbits, build the rabbit hutch, get the bunnies, okay? And that's what we did with the chickens coop. We built the chicken coop, we got the chickens. And then we built the pen, we got the pigs. Then I finished out the fence and everything with that. Because we got the pigs very young, we knew they were going to stay in there for about a month to get trained on electric until we got everything else done. Then we turned them loose in the paddock. So, you know, the hardest work comes up front, there is ongoing work that you have to do. There's ongoing maintenance, and anytime that you plan to expand anything, I really hope to get that. I said this like the third time I've done this thing today. My brain just doesn't want to work. I'm standing here looking at it too. The orchard. I wanted to get that orchard done last year. Get all the cardboard down that we'd saved to get it down as a good weed blocker and a ground cover, and get all that mulch on top of it. And I never got it done. Now I got all the mulch moved out here, all of the wood chips. It's all finally moved out here, and the cardboard is right here beside the tractor. I need to get it over there, get it laid down, and start putting the wood chips down on top of it. It's not a priority right now. So everything has its own priority. And the chickshaw, I'm about halfway done with it. I had to order the wheels for it. I finally got those. And once I got those, I figured out the hardware that I needed to get them mounted. I get them mounted. I got to finish closing that thing in, and I get chickens in it. And I hope to have that done by this coming weekend. So today being Monday, I hope by Sunday to be moving chickens to the chickshaw, surrounded by electric netting in the yard. Add extra layer of protection, not only for predation. I'll even clip their wings, cut the feathers on their wings so they can't fly as much, because a chicken can fly like 6-8 feet straight up off the ground. So they can easily fly out of that chicken netting, but I want that as a deterrent there. And if I can clip their wings, keep them from flying like that, they get a taste of that electric a couple times, they may just say, nope, not doing that no more. But I want to definitely get them on grass very soon, because they need to be on grass, and it also cuts back on my traditional or the conventional feed that I feed them. And those Delaware broilers are tearing up some feed, let me tell you. About 25 pounds a week with all of them, because they're heavy laying eggs. They're really good on laying eggs right now. And they're in that winter pen, and they don't have a whole lot of forage. They can dig in the deep bedding, but I think they've pretty much wore it out through the winter, so I definitely need to get them on grass. And I always go through and grab a few handfuls of grass, throw in there, let them eat it up as I go by. But that's the plan, get them done, or get that chickshaw done, get them on the grass, then I can get my meat chickens, they're supposed to ship, I think, on April the 9th. Then I can get them in that side of the coop and get them brooding in the coop, because I don't want to brood them in my basement. And then I'll get the other chickshaw built and get the American brass out in a separate part of the yard. Then all my chickens are on grass. I finish getting my meat chickens brooded, and I can get them in chicken tractors out in the meadow, get them on grass, raise some meat chickens. There's always something to do. But I tell you, there is nothing else I look forward to doing more than this kind of work, because the food security is with what we're doing, our food security, the safe, it's so much safer, it's so much cleaner, it's so much healthier, and it's so much more satisfying. Now I had 3 bucks left on the rabbits. I had 3 males left from the first breedings that we did. And I had sold several of them to like kids for 4-H and FFA. I just give me 20 bucks for a rabbit. I mean, that covers the cost of a bag of food. And we had 3 bucks left. And somebody reached out to me and asked me if I had any left. And I said, yes, I have 3 bucks. And he said, well, he was interested in one. So I said, well, come on down. You can see him, make your decision. And he come down and he told me, he said he lives in the city limits. And they have a buck and 2 does that they bought because they want to start raising rabbits for food. And because they live in the city limits, they can't have chickens, but they can have rabbits. So he hadn't bred his pairs yet, but he wanted to go ahead and get a rabbit to process so they could eat and let the kids know that, this is edible, it's good, you can. And I said, you know what? I said, if this is what you're going to do it for, I said, these 3 that I got left now, I said, you can just have all 3 of them. I said, he said, I only brought money for one. I said, take all 3 of them. I said, you are stepping up. You're doing what you recognize, a lot of the problems that we see and a lot of people in this community see and a lot of people are waking up to. I said, if you are taking those measures to get to raise your own food and teach your kids that kind of stuff, I said, you take all 3 of them. And I said, you go home and process them rabbits and feed your family. And, he's also in healthcare, and he was talking about, that they're recognizing and seeing like the insecurity in our food supply and our food system and our global supply chain, and just the hard times coming. And he said, I couldn't imagine, no food on the shelves. He said, if it ever turned to food like it did for toilet paper during the pandemic, he said, I just couldn't imagine that. And he said, especially with having kids. So man after my own heart there, and I was really glad to help them out and let them just take them, do what you need to do. So, there is so much going on, and it's like every day there's so much more going on. There's so much more terrible stuff we see. There's so much more questions out there about not only our economical future, But, you know, World War III, the potentially of that expanding and you know, getting worse. Our food is poison. We know that. So we want to do as much for ourselves as we possibly can. Now, with the windstorms that we had, there were several areas that were out for 3 or more days of electricity. And you got a lot of folks who live and they have all electric. They don't have access to natural gas. And there are a select few who have propane, LP. And, you know, if their electric goes off, they have LP to depend on, you know, as a form of heat if they've got like a warm morning stove and stuff and to cook on. But people who have all electric, they don't have any backup. And, you know, there's a lot of people saying, you know, they're checking the websites for like Mon Power, First Energy and stuff like that. Like look here, you know, it's going to be 3 more days before my power gets on. And I said, well, that's an inconvenience at 3 days. And it truly is. And thank God we didn't have like horrendous temperature fluctuations or really, really hot or really, really cold to where people would really be at risk. I said, at 3 days, it's an inconvenience. I said, can you imagine the electric goes off and it ain't going to come back on? What if it's going to be 3 months? What if it's going to be longer than 3 months? And there ain't no electric to come back on? What are we going to do? You know, you have to have backups for your backups. You have to have alternate forms of heat, alternate forms of water and water filtration and sterilization and sanitation. And, you know, you have to have those. So when I tell you again, get prepared, stay prepared, it's not just a catchphrase. It's advice. You got to do it. You got to take care of yourself. Thank God when we built our house, we decided to run almost 1,800 feet of natural gas line. That's the only way we can get gas up here is we had to run that much line. And I vowed and declared, I said, I'm gonna dig 1,800 feet of trench and we're going to run gas line up here because gas is more dependable and we can have a natural gas standby generator, whole house generator, and that's what we did it for. And then, of course, you know, with the convenience of all of that when the electric went off, have a natural gas standby generator, the thoughts of, well, what if the gas ever goes out, how are we going to heat the house? Because we got a gas furnace, we got a gas water heater, we got a gas cooktop stove. What if gas and electric both go off? Wood stove, okay? So as things kind of fed into one another and we build upon our plans and stuff like that, that's how we've moved forward. And we're doing the same thing with our food production and stuff here is expanding our animals in manageable increments and also our growing and stuff like that. That's why we're pursuing the greenhouse and everything. So that's where I'm going to stop with this one because I'm getting it kind of lengthy here and there's a lot of information in that. I don't want to just get people glazed over with your eyes. But, you know, please, folks, give us a like, share this video with people who are like-minded, leave us a comment, tell me what you think. Last check, we were at 800 subscribers, and I'm absolutely just completely flattered. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate the interest in the channel. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you for just listening to an old hillbilly ramble up here on his hill. In the meantime, folks, get prepared, stay free, take care. God bless.